This is the Smoke Break Therapy Podcast. The show where we sits down with the fam to discuss important topics. We're getting super deep to
All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
With that, Rick, welcome to Smoke Break Therapy.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So they don't know it yet, but they're totally. But we're good. So I mean, I'm excited to have you on the show. I'm a little less funny sounding than I usually am.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right.
I figured that you wouldn't mind that.
No, not at all.
So I'd love to start with just talking about your musical career. Like, what have you done? Like, I know you've been in multiple bands besides just, your latest band and stuff like that. So what other bands have you been in? Stuff like that?
Well, I can tell you this. Actually, my music, not career specifically, but my experience with music started in grammar school.
Oh, wow.
I joined the band that was put together by a teacher. And most of the students who were in that band had their instruments paid for by their parents.
Oh, wow.
But we didn't have the money at the time, so we all went down the day that the musical instruments were being given out. And apparently we got there late, and we were last in line, and the only instruments left were trombones.
That's fun.
I didn't want to be a trombone player. I wanted to be a percussionist. I wanted to play drums.
Honestly, I feel like,
really
no offense to anyone who likes it, I feel like no one chooses to, you know what I mean? No one goes into it going, I'm going to be a trombonist, you know what I mean?
Right. So I got my trombone, and the teacher started teaching everyone how to play their instruments. And I've always been impressed with a teacher that could actually play those instruments. Pretty impressive. I cannot say that I was a great trombone player. I was not.
Okay.
I never learned how to read music. It was, for some reason, it escaped me. So I learned all of my music parts by rote. I listened to them, and then I translated it into trying to find the notes on the trombone itself.
Okay.
And that's how I learned how to play.
That's interesting. That makes me think of the way I learned how to play guitar, which is I did eventually learn how to read music and stuff like that. I forgot it now, obviously, because I haven't used it. Like, so you could play that song, and it would just give you what finger goes where, And it just made me think of that.
All right. Well, everything that I learned was rote. Also continued to play the trombone in the high school marching band. And at that point in time, it was great because one of my soon-to-be musicians in a band I was in the early 70s was there. He's still around. His name is Fran Tokars. He's a really fantastic guitar player and bass player. And his brother is named Charlie Tokars, who's a fabulous saxophone player, and both of those were in one of my early bands. In the early 70s, which was a jazz group.
Okay.
And I was the lead singer, and that's the other thing that I did is I learned how to sing rather early. And I was really taken by jazz music and Caribbean music.
Interesting.
So we started a band called Asylum, which was a jazz group. We did a lot of jazz standards, some blues, a little bit of samba and bossa nova.
Okay.
And some Cuban music. We mixed it all together, and that was one of the best experiences I've ever actually had as a musician, was with this band.
That's awesome.
Asylum.
Sounds like it was a great combination of sounds.
I was very fortunate to be among some incredibly talented musicians. The drummer of the band, who was also a hand percussionist, who could play Cuban, Puerto Rican music, he taught me how to play percussion.
Oh, okay, cool. What was the first percussion instrument you?
Conga drums.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off there. I was
Oh,
just
no,
really
that's
curious.
That's fine. And unfortunately, the drummer who taught me how to play percussion passed away a couple of years ago. He was a very close friend. But one of the things he did when he first had his strokes, which caused him to be in a position where he could no longer play, he gave away his instruments to people closest to him.
Oh, wow.
And he gave me all of his conga drums
Oh, that's awesome.
as a gift.
Yeah, that's a beautiful
He
thing.
couldn't play anymore, but he gave them to me. And in a sense, I think I owe it to him to continue playing the instrument.
I do remember coming to your house, actually, the first time and being surprised at how many conga drums you had, like, all around the house. I was actually really surprised at first.
Yeah,
I mean, it's awesome, though.
yeah. They were from him.
Oh, those are the exact
drums
ones?
that
Oh,
he-
that's awesome.
Yeah, he gave me, right.
Wow.
Yeah. And after that, there was a little bit of a hiatus in my involvement with bands, but I sort of, after that, I kind of got into sort of rock, some cover music with a couple of groups. And one of those bands that I liked the most was called White Noise.
Okay.
And we were right in the middle of the new wave type of music that was just crossing the world.
Okay,
so
that's
we're-
awesome.
Very much inspired by a lot of the British stuff that was taking place at the time.
Mm.
But I also wrote a lot of songs for that group, and I had wanted to continue keeping the right, but to keep writing and leaning more towards original music with the group. But there was a rift between myself and the keyboard player, who was one of the founders of the band, who really wanted to do more cover stuff so he could get more work and more money.
Okay.
And that was the reason for my departure from that group.
I mean, it's a good reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's one person's in it for something completely different, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so after that folded up, there was a short experience with a punk band and some rockabilly bands, which I really, and just to back up a little bit, rockabilly became very popular again during the new wave.
I was going to say, you might want to define that. I don't think a lot of people know just what rockabilly is.
Well, I can say one name. I can say Elvis.
Okay.
And Elvis's early music, before he was found by the who was it, the Colonel?
I believe so.
Who was it, Barry? Was it the Colonel? Yes. He was playing pure countrified music and early rock stuff.
Okay.
And he did some original music. It was really quite nice. He did some covers of some African American musicians who were very popular. And that's where he got the ability to do rockabilly. It was just a name.
Okay.
Instead of hillbilly, it was rockabilly.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So,
Okay.
and it had that early rock kind of going across the border of what was appropriate back in those days.
Oh, yeah. Got to ride that fine line. You know?
Right. So we did a little bit of that, and then I took a long hiatus for a while.
How long, roughly?
30 years. I took a break.
That's a long break. That's a very
3
long
years.
break.
And I got involved in the job that I'm still on now, and later on, I picked it up again,
Awesome.
which has been recent.
She has something to say, but full disclosure, I just want to throw it out there. I meant to ask you at the beginning. I don't know how you want to be like addressed as far as anonymity.
Oh, I'm still working the job I've been on for 36 years now.
Yeah, that's
which is
a
at,
long time.
Williams College.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good job. I mean, Williams College.
Yeah,
That's
it's in the art department. We teach filmmaking.
Yeah.
I'm a technician that supports faculty in supporting students' learning of the technical aspects of filmmaking.
Awesome.
Yeah. And before that,
We can hear you, so we know that you're saying a lot of sound work.
yes. And during the entire period of my involvement with bands, I was also a sound engineer.
That's awesome. See, that's a cool job because Me personally, I've always been more of a producer than necessarily a musician. I love to write is what I really got into music for, but producing was always more of, that's why I play a little bit of every instrument instead of mastering anything actually, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I like, oh, can I show you a bass line? I can do that. I can play this guitar riff or one thing, you know, so I can help you write your awesome song kind of thing. But sound engineering is like right up the stuff that I like to do. You know, you're working with all the... I actually helped a kid who went to... Oh, God, what school did he go to? The Art Institute of Boston, I think it was. And they let him use this amazing studio. And I just went in there to help him with a project. But he graduated for sound engineering. But he just had to, like, write this... You know, have someone come in and record this song to do it. And I got to come in and help him with that. And it was really cool. It was a really cool experience. So I'm sure you get to mess with a lot of awesome electronics and stuff. And
Yeah, that has happened more recently. But one of the things I did quite a bit of was support other groups. If I didn't have a gig or I wasn't currently in a band at the time, I did sound for them. So I did their sound engineering live.
Did you do like a lot of touring stuff? Like I used to know a lot of guitar techs that would go on tour with bands to set up all their stuff and things like that. Was that along that?
Well, 1984, I went on tour with Arlo Guthrie
Oh, okay.
as a sound technician.
Yeah.
And that was for about 3 months.
Okay.
The tour went slightly shy of 3, but I was a part of a 3-member sound team.
Okay, that's cool.
We had someone out front who did the main mix, and the other 2 of us did all of the setups, which was pretty heavy because it also included lighting. And I remember the first night we went out with Arlo, we played in New York City, and I wasn't savvy at all about what was going to happen with people who were in the union.
Oh, gotcha.
These union guys in New York City that we had to work
Those
for,
are...
they helped us set up. When it got to a certain point, it says, we can't help you anymore. We're done for the day. And you expect them to help you carry things.
Oh, no.
They didn't do a damn thing.
No.
And they also didn't help us pack our truck.
That's so annoying.
So they said, well, we'll do it if you give us a little bit more money. And I said, well, I don't have any money in my pocket. I haven't been paid for my first week yet. I'm sorry,
right.
I can't pay you. So I had to do it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
a lot.
it was just 2 of us left. The third guy had to pack up all his own gear, and the other 2 of us packing up lights and sound. And so they left once we're getting ready to pull out and pack up the truck.
I'm sure they plan that conveniently.
Well, they do it all the time.
Yeah.
And it was an unbelievably bad deluge of rain.
Okay.
So we're out in the rain trying to pack up the truck. And it took us a long time because the speakers that we'd been given by the guy who introduced us to Arlo's manager had just built them, and they were not built to normal specs for packing by any routes, by any imagination.
Yeah.
So it took us a long time to put everything back in the truck so that it actually fit.
Yeah, right. Because you have to.
And in the meantime, we're getting soaking wet. The equipment's getting soaking wet.
That's the worst.
And the union guys they're long gone. So that was a lesson. And I bought a camera and took pictures of how we would actually do the setup when we had a couple of days free. And so after that, we used our Polaroid camera pictures.
That's smart, actually.
That's what I thought. That's the only way I'm going to know.
That's
how to
actually
do this.
genius. That's a really good idea.
And we did
I
it.
never thought of that.
And that way, every night we knew how to pack.
Yeah,
Because
that's perfect.
the specs were built by some bizarre
Yeah.
imagination with
Whoever,
geometry. It was
Yeah.
really strange. But we got everything picked up and put in the truck, and we were all set. But that was a good experience. But it also told me that I didn't really want to go on the road. It was a little bit too.
It's a lot.
too stressful for me. It's hard work.
It is a lot. It's a lot, both mentally and physically.
Yeah.
It's like,
And we would drive a ridiculous amount of mileage each day to get to the next gig.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. If
Drive
you were,
10, 12 hours.
Oh,
and,
God. That's why people have just the person to drive half the time. They have just that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we were driving.
Yeah.
We were driving and packing, so it
Those
was hard.
honestly, those were some of my favorite memories. Was when I was young and I did a lot of tour management and booking and stuff like that. And so when I was young, some of my favorite memories were getting in, into a van with a bunch of guys for their band and going to a bunch of New England shows. We'd probably only go as far as Rhode Island or we'd play something in Maine or New Hampshire. But it was fun just to book those 5 to 7 dates, and then you just go around with these guys, and it's while you're young, it's super fun.
When you're young,
yeah. Keyword,
and if you're in good health,
yeah. Well,
it's not so
a lot
bad.
of them weren't in such good health, but at the same time, but
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, what about after that?
Well, after that, I came back to the Berkshires and reunited with my wife. Who was not my wife yet, but it was going to be down the road.
Down the road.
And I'm going to add something that's really, really quite important. I was someone who had a fairly long issue with alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason why I was away from music playing and during that 30-year period is because I was in recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing well. I was employable. I was in AA and really starting to build a life back up because of this fellowship that helped me stay sober.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And when I've been sober long enough and in a position well enough where I felt confident enough to go back, I started doing it again.
That's awesome.
It's not to say I didn't play. I periodically set in with a couple of people.
Mm-hmm.
Had a rockabilly band briefly in the beginning of my recovery.
Okay.
We played music for a little while, but then I stopped because I said, this is not the right environment for me.
Well, I was actually going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Is it hard to be someone who's playing music with a band and being clean, being just someone who's sober? Because that environment can be, the opposite of that.
Well,
sometimes.
it could be.
Yeah,
it can be. You got to be on a really good footing with your recovery, and it also depends on the venue that you're in. If you're in a regular bar room, probably not a great idea.
Yeah, right.
Obviously. Because there's one reason for people to go drinking, and that's not always to hear music.
Right. Obviously, yeah.
And I've had, during some of my experiences with doing sound, I've encountered some really aggressive people who just want to punch you in the face.
Yeah, some people are just,
just I can.
Yeah, some people are just that way. It's in their to be nasty. You know what I mean? Just in their nature to be that person.
Exactly, especially under the influence.
Yeah, absolutely. It only brings it out worse.
Right. Exactly.
But congratulations. That's awesome that you've been sober that long. How long has it been exactly? Is that now?
39 years.
Wow. That's older than me.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I think that's a great thing.
I'm glad you're still a pup.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm getting close to the 39 there. I mean, not too close, 33 or something like that.
It.
Yeah. I'm trying not to. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's cool that you're able to keep playing music and not be weighed down by any of that stuff,
Right.
Do you think do you still do sobriety related things? Do you go to AA meetings or have people that you talk to?
Absolutely. Every day.
Yeah, every day.
No, I'm very, very much involved in the
That's awesome.
the program.
See, I meet a lot of people that try to get clean or sober and something like that, and I just don't think a lot of people have the support they need to do it. You know what I mean? I mean that outside of the recovery system, I just mean family and people you could lean on or call and talk to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's it's a big part of it.
I was very fortunate that I had the support with my spouse.
Well, that's probably
was
the most
available
important.
for me right away before we got married.
Yeah.
And she's always been supportive. In the first couple of years were pretty rough. There was some other issues going on that I needed to look at. But as you were just saying, it's incredibly important for people who want to get sober and who want to be in recovery and change their lives to have support. And I had it.
Yeah.
Very fortunate.
Yeah, that is. You were like, yeah, just really lucky or something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
sure, I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yes, some of it is because not everybody makes it into recovery.
Yeah.
That need
yeah.
it.
Or
Desperately
stay,
need
you know?
it, or
That's-
stay.
Yeah.
Right. It's hard, and some people have to come several times
Mhm.
before it clicks in.
Yeah.
And most importantly, you have to want it.
Yeah, I think honestly that is very true. I've known a lot. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. Like I've known too many addicts, in my life, most of which either didn't get help or just still probably using to this day or ended up dead or whatever it was, But like most of them never had any kind of support. Like half of them, I was the support, and I wasn't there to be there all the time. You know what I mean? Like it was someone you grew up with or something, but like you're also trying to lead your life a little bit, and they're still going down that path. So it's like I feel like a lot of people just don't have supportive families or at least another person to go to. So it's a lot.
True.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and a lot of people grow up with this disease.
Yeah, that's
It
true
has
too.
a major impact on them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people don't see it that way until they like hit a rock bottom, if you will. Like, does that make sense? I don't know.
No, it does.
Yeah.
The only problem is regardless of whether it's hereditary or not, if you get too far into it and you become addicted to it,
Right.
that doesn't matter anymore.
Right. It's true. It's the substance itself. I think it just grabs you.
You are in it with the hook, line, and sinker from that disease. And it took me a while to understand that I was beyond the hereditary and the environmental. I was at a point where I was now addicted to alcohol and it owned me. And it didn't matter how I got there
Just
at that point.
do you mean that like physically or just like both?
Both.
Well, all
Everything.
okay. Yeah.
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 Because as we say in AA, it's a physical, emotional, and spiritual disease.
It is for sure. That's a
Goes after
very true
everything.
statement.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was also something that always like made me worried about like if just I was never I don't know how to say this right. Like I've just never been a really spiritual person. Like I'm not saying I don't believe in anything. I've just never been a super spiritual person. I honestly think that's because it was kind of tried to be pushed on me when I was young, you know what I mean? So then people always go the opposite kind of thing. But like that was always something I wonder about. Like is it possible to go through like something like AA and not have that spiritual attachment, like necessarily to God or something like that? Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
We're given the freedom in AA to make a distinction between religion and spirituality.
Okay.
It's suggested that whatever higher power we believe in is up to us.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be any particular religion at all.
Okay. But there has to be a higher power of some sort, right? Like, is that? Am I understanding that correctly? I'm just wondering. Yeah.
Again, that's kind of liquid.
Okay. I like from my knowledge of back when I knew people that did go, it was very much more like, no, this is it. This is God. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was how it was back then. But like, I think that's really cool that they opened it more.
It has been open.
Yeah.
It's basically evolved quite a bit.
Yeah. For everything I've heard from you, like makes it sound way more advanced than any time like or at least more open-minded and welcoming, I guess would be better.
Yeah, and some of the things I just shared about the differences or the distinction between religion and spirituality would have been frowned upon 30 years ago if I said that.
Right.
I would have heard from somebody or more than one person and say that's bullshit.
Yeah, right.
So
I mean, I think that's great that you're sober that long and that the system is actually a little bit better than it has been in the past.
it is evolving, and it's very inclusive these days, and it wasn't necessarily in the beginning. So things have changed quite a bit.
Just to circle us back to our original stuff here. So I actually came here because you were supposed to perform the last performance with Bluesday Night. Did I say that right?
That's correct.
Okay. But because of an emergency, we weren't able to do that. So would you want to talk a little bit about that experience being with them, that band specifically?
Yeah, I was, let's see, we're going back 3 or 4 years now, and I was given a phone call by our tenor sax player who wanted to start a blues band, and he called me and asked me if I was interested, and I said I might be interested, and why don't we throw some people together, and apparently he already had a drummer lined up. And we played with two guys until the pandemic hit us, and then we had to shut down. And when we were free to start up again, the two guys that we got hooked up with, the bassist and the guitarist, were no longer available, so we had to replace the bass player and the drummer, or rather the guitar player. And that worked out quite well, because we got a brilliant bass player.
Yeah,
Berkeley trained guy. He could play any type of bass, fretless or fret bass, an acoustic bass, and a really talented younger guitar person who's understanding of current and blues going back into the past, into the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Were real good assets.
Yeah,
for us.
absolutely. I can attest to that from what I've heard.
Yeah. So it's been a good experience for me, because I really didn't believe that after the period of time I was not playing that I'd be able to sing again. I said, no, there's no way that's going to happen. But it turned out that I did have something left.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I could utilize it. So I did the best I could under the circumstances. Being an older man.
I mean, I don't think it held you back personally. So
yeah.
So how long have you guys played? You said about 4 years ago. So you guys have been together for 4 years?
Well, there was a period with a pandemic.
Right.
Down,
okay, so
we only had a couple of rehearsals actually with the first bass player and guitar player, and then that shut down. One night we got the news. Guess what? We have a pandemic.
Yeah,
and we had to
definitely
stop,
killed a lot of stuff.
And then we started playing up again when we realized that we could be safe, remember to test frequently, wear masks, do a lot of things to prevent ourselves from getting COVID-19. And if we did get it, we didn't have a rehearsal until that person was clear. And that's when we knew that everyone in the band was safe to go. We would get together and have rehearsals.
During those times, you really got to be safe. It was kind of a crazy time period and stuff, so that's good. Let me end with a couple more questions that I was thinking of. So, I wanted to ask, what was your favorite performance you've ever done? Like, what specifically do you think was just the time you felt the most alive on a stage or something like that?
Well, I would have to go back to that first group, Asylum. That was such an exciting group to play with, be playing that music. And most of the time, we were playing, we're the Friday night jazz band at the local hotel.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is the Williams Inn in Williamstown, Massachusetts.
There you go.
That was great.
That's awesome.
And then another experience was with the new wave band I was in, White Noise, and we were playing up in Old Quebec City.
Okay.
And that was quite a bit of fun up there.
Awesome.
It was very, very, very exciting. The audiences were fantastic. The environment up there was wonderful. They were great to us. We didn't get paid much, but we were enjoying ourselves.
Sometimes the good gigs you don't get as much money for.
Right. And the rockabilly bands were a lot of fun too. Some of these guys are still my friends. And stay in touch with them when we can. They were just really, still are great guys. And before that, we had a group called Straight No Chaser.
Straight No Chaser. That is very interesting.
It's named, because that's an appropriate name for an alcoholic.
Yeah, I'd say.
But it was interesting, and I was really, when I was in that band, I was in the beginning of my deep progression into alcoholism, but I refused to stop playing.
Yeah.
And I would try to stay sober on gigs, but when the gig was over, I'd go to the bartender and buy a bottle of vodka.
There you go.
And said, well, we'll catch up, no problem.
Oh.
And that progression got to be pretty nasty.
Yeah, I'd say a whole bottle definitely gets progressive. Yeah.
You asked me something earlier about did I want to remain anonymous? No, I don't care. My name is Rick Lescarbeau.
Awesome.
You can put that out there. It doesn't matter to me.
I will definitely put that out there. I think it's awesome that you're so proud of all of it, because it's worth being proud about. You know, it's just great.
Yeah, you know, and being older and having had this more recent musical experience, life is very precious. To be 72 years old and still enjoying it,
Yeah.
for me, it's the best thing going.
Yeah, that's a great thing to say.
Yeah.
What do you think, or do you want to go anymore? Or?
If you got some questions, we could, but also,
I know it's getting late too.
The most important person in my life is my wife, Mary.
Yeah,
And she has been my
I think
rock.
she's ready.
She's got her thumb up right now. Yeah, she's sitting over there. That's my manager too.
Yeah, full credit.
Yeah, full credit.
I got a question.
Oh,
When did you stop playing the harp?
When did I stop playing the harp?
Stop. Stop.
In high school.
High school. How did you pick that up?
Well, I actually was playing a jaw harp, that boing, boing, boing sound. You know that? You know what that is, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I said, you know, I keep hitting my teeth with the thing that you make the boing with, and I don't like it. And somebody said, why don't you try harmonica? So I went to our local music store and bought a harmonica for $1.25. How much do I pay for a harmonica now?
I have no
Guess.
idea. I've never even thought about it, to be honest. Anyone got a guess?
$50.
Low end $35, mid price $80. I have some of each, but they're expensive. That's when I started playing, and got reintroduced to the blues that the British invasion was sending back to us. They were listening to all the blues, and they were writing all these songs, of which I like the stuff. But then sooner or later, I got reintroduced to American blues, and that's been great.
So you taught yourself how to play?
Yes. Yes. Going back to rote, like I did with my trombone.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Too bad you have one on you now that you can play out a little bit.
I don't have one with me. I have one in the car.
Oh, actually, that makes me think of something. I was going to ask if you minded. I actually recorded some of, I think the last time we were here's performance. Would you mind if I stuck that at the end of the episode?
Not at all.
Okay, awesome.
Please.
I'm excited about that. I have to see if I got to pull them out of that hard drive, but I'm excited.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
As long as it's good.
Yeah, I think it's good.
We have a message from my manager.
Well, can you talk about how you got into singing and how you discovered that you liked, that you could sing?
That's a good question. That really is. It almost seems like it magically happened, but of course it didn't. I think I was very much inspired by the music that was being played in the 60s, in the early 70s, but especially the 60s. And I really loved R&B. That music was just so incredible. But then the British invasion started, and the music was coming over from all kinds of bands. And the first night that I ever played, I think I was 18 years old, with a local group of musicians I was playing with, and my opening song was a song by Jethro Tull. And I can't remember the name of the song, unfortunately, but I remember singing this song, and the guy said, "Hey, you sound just like him." And that's all I needed to hear. For a long time, I was perfectly happy covering stuff and sounding like other people and not myself. And fortunately, that got to change after a while. Especially when I started to write my own music, I sang like myself. And that was much more satisfactory to be doing your own stuff. That way you don't forget the lyrics.
Yeah, that's how it's
Usually. Yeah.
That must be a way better feeling though, singing, as yourself, like the things you write, you feel.
Right.
Just it definitely is a different feeling. Honestly, I never covered too many bands. I maybe did like a couple covers, but like I always, like I said, I wrote. That was like all I did. But I never wanted to hear myself do it, which is the weird part. Mm-hmm. I bet it was an amazing feeling if I did. You know what I mean? But like I just never I'd rather have someone else do it. It was like I liked the collabness of it all, you know.
Right.
That was always my thing. Yeah. I mean, what do you play any other instruments? And like, is there other stuff you got? You sing. You got the harps. You got guitar, right? Yeah. Do you play guitar too?
Play a little bit of guitar, acoustic and electric, primarily electric.
Mhm.
But the other instruments that I really enjoy playing are percussion,
Mhm.
Hand drumming, like conga drums,
Yeah. Yeah.
things of that nature. Hand percussion, small percussion, variety of different shakers, devices, especially that you hear with Puerto Rican
Yeah. Yeah.
music, Cuban music, and Brazilian music. A lot of small percussion that I really love to play. And my introduction to that was with my friend who passed. His name
Right.
was,
Right.
His name was Gary Sikowski, and he was a really brilliant guy. We met in high school. We've been friends for forever in many bands together. But he was really instrumental in my life and learning.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say that one. Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you for doing this. It was exciting. I got a whole bunch of stuff to edit, and it's going to be fun. I got to find those songs so I can put them at the end, and people can actually get to hear you and enjoy it.
All right. I might even send you something.
Yeah, definitely.
From our recording.
Absolutely, definitely.
Because we did that recording a couple months back.
Yeah, that would be
In the
great.
studio.
I would totally, 100%.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, did you ever put out a CD?
We can't because it's copyright material. It's not ours to put out.
Yeah.
It's not yours? Or
No.
You mean it's other people's songs? That's right.
It's other
You're
people's
okay.
songs,
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
ours.
you have to join the whatever jinx.
whatever it
Like I
is.
did.
I mean, it's old
What?
stuff. I mean, it's 50s and 60s, but we don't own it.
No, yeah, but if you joined, what's it?
It's up to you.
Yeah.
You're the boss. Well, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do it again if we ever get back down here. It would be nice, you know.
Oh, we'll do it down your way.
Yeah, or that. Either way works for me.
Okay.
Absolutely. It'd be fun.
Sounds good.
I like the. Hold on. They had applauded you, so let me just.
I want to hear it.
Can you hear? There you go. Yeah.
Come on now. Give it up. Give it up for Ricky Dick.
That's fun.
We woke you up. You had a little power nap, didn't you?
The babies. What the baby think?
I think just because that was such a positive note, maybe we cut it there.
First guys.
I've been trying this road for way too long. guitar.
You guys are in ice cream. Still summertime.
Sax
Over
up.
here.
Oh,
Check out the 55
Billy-
Ford.
Billy down, sax up. Lescarbeau on the lead vocals here. And the blues harp, harmonica. Yeah.
down the street, minding my own affair, when two policemen grabbed me unaware. He said, "Your name Henry?" And I said, "Why, sure." He said, "You the boy we're looking for." But I was framed. Framed. Well, I never knew nothing, but I always did a dream. They took me to the lineup and let those bright lights shine. There were 10 poor souls like me in that line. I knew I was a victim of someone's evil plan. When a pool stool pigeon walked in and says, "That's your man," I was framed. I was framed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I never knew nothing, but I always did a dream. Well, the prosecutor turned and started prosecuting me. Man, that cat gave me nothing but the 3rd degree. He says, "Where were you on the night of July 15th, 1993? And I said, "I was just home with my Tweedledee." And I was framed. Well, I was blamed. Framed. Well, I never do nothing, but I always did a dream. Thanks, folks. We'll be back shortly. We'll take a little break.
We're gonna.
Gotta be a stone. Man, gotta be a stone. Man, gotta carry that weight. I want a life to live. Baby, want a life to live. I gotta fill it up so go home.
Billy Gibbard on the guitar. Rick Lescarbeau on the blues harp. And the backbone of the band, John Garcia on the drums and Art Amuso on the bass. Backbone and legs.
Oh, thank you.